I'm going to take you guys on a full day of eating for our African pied crow, Trixie. In between all that too, I'm going to go ahead and just give you kind of all the latest updates and everything else too. So you'll get those in between her meals and her snacks and all that good stuff. You having fun? Yeah? Good morning. So we're starting Trixie's day with a frozen Kong toy. So why freeze the Kong? It's a question we get asked a lot. So if I don't freeze the Kong, for one, all of that food's just gonna fall out in like a couple of minutes. Honestly, scratch that, couple of seconds with her. So if I shove some mushy foods in the Kong and freeze them, they're considerably tougher for her to get out of the Kong. Now granted, she usually drags it over to her water to soften it up. All right, so it doesn't take quite as long as it should because she thaws it like that, but it still takes longer. We want her to take longer for these foods because she is incredibly intelligent. And smart animals are real pains when it comes to keeping them happy and mentally stimulated. So we have to challenge her or she gets bored. So every single meal she gets in some kind of work to eat toy and gets a variety of enrichment in her aviary at all times. The funny part about when she dips the Kong in the water is that she's not concerned about actually thawing the stuff, but just softening enough to be able to get it out easier. She's smart, but she's also impatient. She also gets a couple of different enrichment items throughout the day as well. Where are you going? Come here. Come on. And it's funny, we get a lot of people commenting on stuff where we're giving her anything that's non-food. Essentially telling me like, oh, you should have given her a snack, she should have food. She gets food all the time. You can see in like the vast majority of the types of puzzles and stuff that we post where she'll take food out of it and leave it on the ground to see if there's like a better snack in it or something like that. Or when she has like wrapped enrichment where I wrap it with wrapping paper, she will unwrap something and leave it there even though it's food to go and unwrap something else to see if there's something more fun, and because she just likes unwrapping it. So people like just kind of can't comprehend that other things besides like your dogs and cats can enjoy toys and stuff that aren't food. Like everything's not always necessarily food motivated. Now there are a lot of animals that are pretty much only food motivated, and I am lucky that she's very interested in toys and things like that, but she's just undeniably always looking for trouble of some kind. Like that. You can't steal the mic. We know. You want to flap? Here you go. She does like a, where she sits up on your hand if you hold her up high, and when she gets like zoomies, but she'll just stand on you and flap, and then she'll usually start doing a little bit of like a call too. It's funny. All right, so we still haven't finished the fencing. We've been rotating Pumpkin around a few other spots in the yard instead. So we've got this area next to her stall, which is where I'm going to stick her pool. And then in addition to that, we've got two other small pastures, which we have her swapping back and forth with the goats. We don't put her in with the goats because goats are built to be able to bash each other with their skulls. And we don't want that. We don't want Pumpkin being on the end of that. So she gets to be adjacent to the goats, and the goats get rotated back and forth. So we've got the two small pastures here, and then we've got the wet pasture, which once I've refenced it, we can let the goats go back there too, and Pumpkin can go in the bigger pasture that the goats hang in. Trixie has a lot of built-in enrichment all around her aviary that is useful for like actual food and not just toys. So you can see over here we have these like PVC elbows that I put little covers on. She's got some various like parrot treat dispenser type of stuff. So what the plan is, we're gonna give her a peanut to keep her preoccupied, hypothetically keep her preoccupied, while we go and fill all that other stuff up. And then I'm also gonna hide some stuff just kind of randomly around for her to find later. Now, the theory is that she's going to be opening her peanut and paying attention to that and not watching where I hide all the food, but in reality, she's going to watch every single spot that I hide stuff in, and it's really just going to be a matter of her going through and taking time to find everything anyway. You want to come back up? I've got a peanut. So what? Okay. Mine. Okay, go on. Peanut up here. Ah. She says, nope, I'm going to get that one too. Of course, it's easier if I can actually, she says, no, I'm going to steal everything else instead of opening the peanut. I'm going to get your peanut, though. Oh. Get it. And what I have here are just some, like, old dried minnows and dried soldier fly larvae. Those are good because they have they've got more calcium than mealworms do, and calcium's important for her as far as corvids can get metabolic bone disease relatively easily compared to other birds, so they need a lot of calcium in their diet. Hiding stuff in here. The smaller pieces in this one is actually the only way to make it difficult for her to get stuff out of. And then we've got this. Actually, I'm going to break this in half so that she can. It's actually already got some little rocks in there too. And we got this one. She's already over trying to get stuff out of her little wheel. That one's not particularly difficult for her either, but it's a good little parrot one. The thing with, honestly, dog puzzles are better for her for the most part. That's why we use them for all of her food. The dog puzzles are honestly better for her than parrot stuff, and it's why I use them primarily when she's eating her food and stuff. Because parrot stuff is built to be like completely indestructible, because parrots can destroy so much more than like a corvid can. Corvids are soft bills, so she can't break this plastic open for the most part. Where dog puzzles don't quite have to be as indestructible. But the indestructible part of it makes it more difficult for them to like actually make it hard to get the food out of. You got it all out of there? Oh, your peanut. Yeah, I forgot about that. Do you want to go for a walk? A walk? Down the road? Do you want to go for a walk? Come on, let's go. Okay. Oh, she's got a great little tactic that she likes to do when she's trying to play with him, where she just dashes into the bushes and then squats down and hides, because he can't see her, you know. She's very, very hidden. And then she'll dash back over again. Look. Ah, you'll never find me. For Trixie's dinner, we have a dog puzzle with some food in it. So she's got some soaked puppy kibble. And we use that puppy kibble because it's good. It's got a higher amount of calcium than regular dog food does. And crows need to avoid metabolic bone disease, so they need higher amounts of calcium. They just are more prone to it than other birds. Crows are also omnivores, so their diet is pretty similar to a dog, so it provides a good like base diet to give them. And then we've also got some scrambled egg as well, so I always like to add an additional protein source for her just to up the protein a little bit more. The cool part about these type of puzzles is you can see when something's blocked, she'll like try to use brute force on it a couple of times, and then you'll see her actually like move the piece that's obstructing it. And then we'll also add a bit of fruit occasionally as well for variety. I didn't add any here today. She doesn't really even care that much for it, but I'll add it every once in a while just for a little bit of extra micronutrients. Her favorites are blueberries, and she'll have some strawberry occasionally, but she tends to just sort of have maybe one or two and then leave them behind, so we don't do them too much. Hello. Hi. Hello. Will you say goodbye? Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. She says you say goodbye and I say hello.